right date. Okay, fine. 7:45. Why isn't anybody coming? Is the venue right? Did I make a mistake? Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Are they coming or not? Let me check. Okay, this is a small thing that we are trying to depict here. That the thing is that what we are trying to depict here is cross-cultural differences, and which just lays the basis for what we are talking about is cross-cultural communication. In most communities, including ours, punctuality is a virtue. So we like to be punctual. We are taught to be punctual. But say these people are depicting Venezuelans, and in this culture, you are supposed to come late to a party. If you come at the party right on time, the host thinks that you're coming for the food, or you're a greedy person and you're just coming for the sake of having the food. So this is a small basis of what we are going to depict to you right now through the PPT here. And this is why cross-cultural differences are so important. They must be realized, and this is why cross-cultural communication is so important to us. So I introduce my team here. That's Jainendra, Aditi, Hemant, Kunal, Ruchi, and I am Shang. And we are management consultants, and we are talking on the cross-cultural cafes that a worldwide company has made while entering into a new market called Venezuela. So I give the floor to Kunal, who is a research analyst here, and he will give a background on the case.
I need your sheet, please. Your sheet.
Thank you, sir. Well, let me first talk about the background which has resulted in this meeting being conveyed this afternoon. We have the Worldwide Bank, which wants to expand its market globally, and for that it identifies Venezuela as its potential market. Now the CEO and President, Ana Tierney, through her contacts, identifies Dr. Juan Trujillo as a major contact in Venezuela. She later selects Rorik Kloss to head the marketing campaign in Venezuela in lieu of his recent success in California. Now Rorik Kloss identifies and selects a team of research analysts, and these analysts fly to Venezuela. On reaching Venezuela, they identified two senior executives which will act as contacts of Worldwide Bank. He tries to contact these two executives, but unfortunately he is not able to contact these executives. Frustrated, he tries to book a ticket to Venezuela, and he lands Caracas, which is the capital of Venezuela. On reaching Venezuela, he meets his American contact in Jane Tatum. Jane Tatum arranges a meeting with one of the chairmen of the oldest oil companies in Venezuela. Unfortunately for Rorik Kloss, this meeting does not go according to plan, and all that he achieves is to get a lunch invitation for the following day. Now at lunch, Rorik Kloss realizes that all the major prospects are present at the party. But unfortunately, they're all speaking in Portuguese, and the interpreter that he brings with himself is speaking Spanish, and he understands only Spanish. As a result of this, no business conversation takes place. Disheartened, he leaves the country and flies back to Boston. In Boston, he receives a fax from Dr. Trujillo stating the fact that he would want to have a business conversation with Rorik Kloss in the future, thus giving him a new lease of life. Now, with this background at the back of our minds, I hand over the mic to Hemant, who will continue with the presentation.
Hello everyone, thank you Kunal. I'll be informing you about the various situations where there was a conflict between the American way of doing business and the Venezuelan way of doing business. So when Kloss was asked to formulate a strategy to enter into the Venezuelan market, he tried to incorporate many of the points which he had used in his recent successful Californian campaign. So here he presumed that the strategies which were successful in California would be equally successful in Venezuela. After that, when he reached Venezuela, so he contacted his American counterpart there, who told him to be a bit patient while dealing with the Venezuelans. But again, discarding his advice, he tried to arrange a business meeting there, and the secretary of the executive, the Venezuelan executive whom he was trying to contact, he said that a meeting was not possible for next 3 or 4 weeks. So again, he was trying to do business in the direct way, the American way, and again he was unsuccessful. So later he met a gentleman who was also a senior executive in Venezuela, and he tried to know more about Cross's family background and about what he does in America. So this made Cross very uncomfortable because it was something, a new type of business dealing where they wanted to know about his personal life. So again he missed a cue that Venezuelans would like to know him better before doing business with him. After 3 days he came back to America. Now again, American way of having very short business trips. And as Kunal told that he later received a mail from Dr. Toja that they were willing to do business, but they wanted to spend more time with him so that they could know him better and they could show them more about the Venezuelan culture, about their history. So here we see that Cross was unsuccessful at appreciating the cultural differences, and he tried to do business in the American way in Venezuela. So now I would like to call Jayendra, who would describe you more about the Venezuelan way of doing business.
Thank you, Ayman. Now I'll be continuing with the cross-cultural communication between Venezuela and the American culture. In this context, the iceberg metaphor is often used to talk about the culture. The iceberg model says that the 10% of the what we think we are unaware about the hidden features of the people. Now, in addition to that, most of us, what we know about the people are hidden below the surface, like their thinking and their values. In addition to that, I would like to highlight what were the features of Venezuelan culture. They were cultured. The Venezuelan peoples are very particular about their culture. They want their people to focus and recognize their culture before doing business with them. Now, they are also perceived as arrogant because they highlight their degrees into their visiting card, which shows how much they love their status. In addition to that, they are also perceived as formal and reserved because they want to know people before doing business with them. And lastly, they are also apprehended as invasive and intrusive because they will want to know you personally and will want to know you about your family before committing into any business. Now I would like to invite Aditi to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Janindra. Now we have seen the tip of the iceberg, and now we should see what lies beneath. So basically, Venezuelan people are very proud of their culture and the nation. They would like the people whom they are doing business with to know about their culture, their history. They do not want to directly jump on the business talk. They would like to first build a rapport with the people whom they want to do business with. Number 2, emphasis on building trust. In emphasis on building trust, Venezuelan people like to do business with people who are more into networking, so that they get to know the person more through a person who they already trust. Number 3, family oriented. Even in the formal emails and during the meetings, Venezuelan business people would like to know more about your background, more about your values, more about your culture. They would like to have a more interaction, and they would like to know about you on a personal basis. Number 3, risk averse. Venezuelan people like to spend more time on knowing you beforehand rather than repenting it later. So they would like to build a trustworthy relationship with the business people. Long-term commitment. They would like to go for achieving long-term goals rather than just focusing on the short-term profits. Thank you. Now I'd like to call upon Ruchi.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. These are basically our key takeaways for communication going forward with the Venezuelans. Basically, we need to pay emphasis on the fact that cross-cultural communication is important, starting with the fact that we should start with background research and have planned communication in terms of what are the things that they like to talk about, how do they like to start their business. And in terms of, even if the communication is planned and it's not going according to the plan, we should be able to pick up cues and clues, pick up from body language, be adaptable and flexible so that there is no divergence in communication. So in terms of if the Venezuelans like to talk about their culture, talk about their museums, their art, we should be able to pick up on that, and we should be able to pick up on the fact that they are family oriented, and we should be open to that, considering they are the ones who have leverage over there. We are going to them and asking them for a favor or wanting to do business with them. We need to be the ones who are making the compromise. Especially in case of a high context culture like Venezuela itself, where family, community, culture, everything is very important. The way to go about it would be a more indirect way of communication rather than a direct face-to-face, get straight to business communication. Now, a proper detailed outline of how communication should be carried out once someone goes to Venezuela will be taken up by Sai.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, Ruchi. So I'd like to give you just a brief that what Cross could have done to avoid the cafes that had happened. So the first thing is to study the culture and customs of the Venezuelans. For example, more of the talk that Venezuelans had with him was on the art of that Venezuela is famous upon, the geographies that they have. So if he had done a background research on that, he could have just gotten he could have done a better small talk, and he could have become more personal with him. So another thing is scheduling meetings well in advance. We saw in a case study that Cross was just going direct. He was just going directly into the conversation, and he was not scheduling the meetings. Have one side of your business card translated to Spanish, and have all the sales and marketing material printed in Spanish as well as English, so that everybody understands there what the situation is. Nobody has to be explained anything. Background research on the executives who we are going to meet, now that definitely helps for the small talk. The next is talk life, less business, interact with them, let them know you, let you know them, so that there's a trust gets developed. Engage in small talk like cultural family. There are hierarchical family structure, so you have to address the eldest person first by their academic or professional guidance. This is very important. If invited to an informal gathering, send flowers in advance of the event, send a handwritten thank you note. And finally, we come to the last slide, which is negotiation business deals take a long time. So, not to do with American culture, do not book your return flight. Before concluding, I just want to say one thing that taking all this across, the most important thing here is what we showed in the first slide, in my first slide here, that you should be, when you're going to a different culture and try to do business, you should try to know what their culture is about, because you might just be surprised at how different things are taken. For example, Venezuela is a very collectivist and is a very power distant society where nepotism is even accepted, which is maybe not accepted in many of the European, American, even our culture. So before going there and before being shocked, because you are the person who needs the business, not them. So you should be trying to adapt, and you should get it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Any questions from the audience? Alright, I have a query. Okay.
You've always talked about things on a personal level, like I should go there and do this. Don't you think there should be something done by corporates and such, taking trainings, or there's something that people are more adaptable to cultures when they go there? We're all working in a global environment, so should companies take this as a serious issue and train
Actually,
people?
from my work experience, I can see that because ever since globalization is coming, this thing is happening recently now. For example, in Infosys, we had these language classes, we had these culture classes, where people from different, so there would be a German people coming down, and there would be just a meeting of say around 100 people would be there in the meeting, and you tell us about more about German culture and how to react, how to go, how to talk. That this would happen not only with them. Most European countries where Infosys already has a business, people would come down and have a talk with us, so that and this is happening ever since globalization is coming, and the whole world is our market right now. So we are seeing this exactly the same thing is happening right now.
Picking up from a sign network, basically their official websites also like communicate.com and everything, so you can go online, and if you're very keen on having them going abroad for business, then you can go and learn about their culture and how they do business.
Is this case similar to, somewhat to the American case where the one where Mexico and Walmart, the imbroglio? So any similarities that you could find?
I think the last time mentioned it, ma'am, where they booked their return tickets. They are Americans are in a hurry, and they want the business done very fast, and they don't realize that.
My question is, Walmart case imbroglio in Mexico. Is the same case reflected here? There was a bribery case, if you recall,
Okay.
and it was more of cross-cultural, communication deficiency. So where the legal suit was slapped against.
You can see that because see, for example, in Venezuela, as I said, nepotism is accepted. So I mean, if you are going there, so it is encouraged that you go through a person who knows you and who introduces you. And but see, back in India, if we are encouraging nepotism, maybe it still happens, but it would be frowned upon if it comes in a national newspaper and it will be looked at back in
Thank
that.
you so much.